Hello guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make custom models for Tabletop Simulator using WoW Model Viewer. So the first things you're going to want to have installed is Unity, first of all. For creating custom models and using Tabletop Simulator's assets, you need a certain version of Unity at the very least. So just make sure when you download Unity, you download the latest version or something like that. It's not too big of a deal. Just make sure you don't have like a really old version or whatever, you know. So yeah, just that. Next, you want to get WoW Model Viewer. So you could just look it up and you'll find the website. You'll have to go here to downloads, scroll down. I recommend the latest version right here. You can also get older versions for older versions of the game, but you'd also have to have an older, I guess, client for the game as well, so it's a little bit more complicated. So just get whatever the latest one is here. Download that, and then next, for the asset bundle stuff, you're going to have to just look up Tabletop Simulator custom asset bundles, and it'll bring you, this is one of the first websites that pops up. It's pretty easy to find. Scroll down here, and you'll click on this, download the modding project on GitHub. You're definitely going to need that. So yeah, there's going to be, I'll have the links for those three websites in the description. Also for WoW Model Viewer, make sure you have World of Warcraft installed, because when you first open the Model Viewer, it's going to ask for the location of WoW where you want the stuff to come from. So just make sure you have WoW installed and you know, like, where it's installed to, all that. All right. First up, you're gonna want to open WoW Model Viewer. I have it open here. I was messing with some stuff. You can get any models you want. You have character models, which is essentially the different races in the game, in addition to some other stuff, even if they're not playable, you know. But the majority of the models I make, or export at least, come from creatures. This is pretty much like everything in the game, any creature in the game, stuff like that, you know, whatever you want. So for this video, I'll go with, you can also search for what you want if you know the name of it. So we'll go with ancient, and we'll scroll up under creatures, and let's go ancient of arcane. Actually no, we'll do ancient of lore too. Go him. Alright, so stop right there. So you can stop, play, stop animations, stuff like that. You can cycle through his different animations. For this, we'll go with Dragon Stomp, and we'll stop. Go to frame, let's say 475 right there. That's kind of cool. Actually, we'll go a little bit more. 547 is good. All right, so the first step. This is a more complicated model because he has a bunch of different parts to him. You know, it's not just one singular body. He has leaves and stuff like that, different doodads all around him. So to deal with stuff like that, what you're gonna want to do is go up to View, show Model Control. If Particles is checked and he has particle effects coming off of him, I recommend turning that off. Otherwise, your model's gonna look all funky. And first, you notice how there's two here, main and facial. When you're exporting a model and you click on one category, say it's main, see how many of these there are? It is much easier and it's much less risky. Well, not easier, I'd say. It's a little bit more tedious, but it's a lot less risky to do these one at a time. So we'll take a look at this. So like, see, get rid of this. 0 is his whole body. 1 is that bundle of leaves there. 2 is eyes and little details on the lanterns. 3 is the glow of the lanterns. 4 is the secondary glow, the brighter glow. So for glow and particles and stuff like that under these categories, I usually don't mess with those, so you can just get rid of these entirely. But if you want them, I can show you how to mess with those later. So first off, so these are the categories we have in our mains. Basically, we're working with these three. So next up, facial. It's the arm, leaves, and part of the beard. Now, when you export stuff, usually, if they're under two different categories, you can export them at the same time. Say it's like, I don't know, body and it was leaves, right? You can export those two at the same time because it's two different categories, which means they share two different textures, so they won't like get all messed up when you bring it to Unity. However, this is an exception for this character because they are leaves. It needs to have a different model, and I'll get to that in a little bit on Unity. So we'll get rid of this for now. We'll get rid of these leaves, and we can keep the eyes because usually eyes and stuff like that always share the same texture with like the big models, and I've never had any issues exporting eyes with other stuff, so we can just keep that there. Now the first thing you want to do is you have this guy right here. You want to export him. Go up to File, Export Model, OBJ. I have a folder set up, so we'll just call him Tree Man. Easy enough. Next up, you're gonna go back to View and Show Model Control. Go back to Main. You're gonna get rid of the body and the eyes, and you're gonna bring these leaves in. And you can also, if you want, you can, because two separate different things, you can bring back this part of the leaves too on facial, and you can export these two together. Next, we'll do this. Man leaves. And last but not least, this is optional. I usually don't mess with particles and stuff like that, but you can bring them in if you want to. It just looks a little bit weird sometimes. So we'll go the bright one right here. Actually, we'll go both at the same time because it's more or less the same thing. So we'll wait for them to get a little bit brighter. And glow. Just give it a sec. Right there. We'll export that. Okay, now that we have it exported, what you're going to want to do is open up Unity, create a new project, name this tutorial project. Okay, we'll just give that a second to load. So, first thing you want to do, you make sure you installed the Tabletop Simulator modding master from the website, and once you have that installed, you just go to it, make sure all this stuff is in here, just go back, you just drag the whole folder into Unity. Just wait for that to load. Next, you're going to want to make another folder, just name it Asset Bundle, and next up, you want to take your models that you or the assets that you exported from WoW Model Viewer, whatever your folder you exported it to, you want to drag everything that's there. So you have Tree Man Glow, Tree Man Leaves, the files as well as the textures. Drag everything into Unity. Next up, what you're going to want to do is just drag everything out there. So we have the tree guy himself, the leaves, and the glow. Now you see what I mean with like glows and particles and stuff like that come out weird in Unity. Now leaves, this is also another one as well. Leaves and thin fabrics, stuff like that. I remember off the top of my head, the flaps on dragon wings also come out like this, where they have the big blocky parts, like it's almost the picture itself. Now what you're going to want to do with these, and why it's important to export these separately, is first you have this leaf material, right? So what you want to do is click on this little icon in the top right corner, create material preset. You have this now. It's set to opaque. You want to do cutout. Either cutout or fade works. I prefer cutout for most things unless you want like a special effect on it, like dragon wings and stuff like that. Now it's cutout. You just drag this to the leaves, like so. There's two separate textures, so you have to do it for the first one and then now the second one, like so. And there's your leaves. Now for the glows are a little bit weird because once you bring them to Tabletop Simulator, they don't actually glow. It just has a kind of a faded effect. So what you'll do with this, it's more or less the same process as with the leaves. Create material preset, set on opaque, set it to fade, and just drag it to there. See how it's now kind of a faded blue. Alright, now that you have all your pieces set up, to make these all into one piece when you bring them to Tabletop Simulator, you have to choose a parent model and make sure you have it set to the right one. So it would obviously be this tree man because his feet are touching the ground, because if you set, for example, like the parent model as your glow, once you export it and bring it into Tabletop Simulator, as soon as you place the model, he's going to fall into the floor until he hits the bottom of this glow, because this is the actual model. Everything else is just kind of technically not there. So you have this guy, right, set as your parent model. Click on him, look at his position. Click, it'll just highlight position X. Control C, just copy it. Highlight these two, the glow and the leaves. Paste. Copy Y position. Paste. Copy Z position. Paste. And last but not least, highlight both these parts. Drag them onto Tree Man. Now he's one model. All of this counts as one model, with the Tree Man himself being the parent model. Next, what you're going to want to do, go to the asset bundle folder you made, drag and drop, just click enter, and now you got a name. So we'll just name him Treebeard Guy, like so. Click here in your asset bundle folder, right click at the bottom. If you brought the Tabletop Simulator modding master into Unity, you'll have this option. Right click and then click build asset bundles. Now obviously the more models you're exporting, if you have like a bunch lined up that you're creating, it'll take a fair bit longer, because there's just one doesn't take too long. So now that's done. Last part, just go into Tabletop Simulator, click create, just go to single player to make your models. Click objects, components, custom, asset bundle, drag and drop here. I choose figurine and cardboard, just because it's not too heavy, and also figurine so they stand upright. And click browse local files. It's already set up here, but we'll go WoW models, tutorial project, and you click on asset bundles on the top, and your guy will be here if it's whatever you named it, treebeardguy.unity 3D. Click select. If you plan on using these models for multiplayer, you'll have to upload it to Steam Cloud. If you don't care about that and you're just going to use it on your own, local is fine, but we'll just be using cloud. Upload. Once this is done, just click import, and boom, there's your model. Now, in Tabletop Simulator, when you export from Unity, like I said before, particles and glows are a little bit wonky. Like, see, there's nothing here, but if I turn this way, you can see them. That's just kind of the way they work. See, it's kind of like a line through. So it looks neat from the front. It doesn't really hurt to have them, but I don't really think they're necessary, so I don't use them too often. But if you want to, that's fine. But overall, that's pretty much all there is to it, to create models like this. Bring them into Tabletop Simulator. If you liked the video, I hope I helped you guys at least a little bit. If you liked, go ahead and share it with anyone else that might be into this kind of stuff and wants to maybe learn how to make their own models in Tabletop Simulator. But other than that, thanks again, and I'll see you guys.